Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of Carruthers and Leggetter and Whoever. I'm Thomas Carruthers.
I'm Will Leggetter.
And today we have a very special guest. We have Becky Muggeridge, who I know as the secretary of the podcast, and Will knows as his significant lover. Significant other. It's significant other, isn't it? Not lover. Anyway, so Becky, today we're talking about, it's in my top 10, so we would have got around to it eventually, but it's also in your top 10. So would you like to introduce us to today's wonderful film?
It's When Harry Met Sally.
Mm.
Ooh.
Do
you want me to describe it?
How would you describe it? Give us a plot synopsis in 10 words. I think it's a very easy 10 word.
Words.
You can do this. I think it's a very good 10-word film.
Boy meets girl, travels to big city.
You've got 3 left. You've messed up.
Yeah, I have messed up.
All in love.
All in?
Fall in love.
Men and women can't be friends because no man can be friends with a woman that he finds attractive. He always wants to have sex with her.
So you're saying that a man can be friends with a woman he finds unattractive?
No, you pretty much want to nail him too.
All in love. Yeah, okay, that's a good
All
one.
in a hole.
Oh yes, the film is directed by the wonderful Rob Reiner and written by the incomparable and late Nora Ephron. And basically, Rob Reiner came to Nora Ephron and said, I've got an idea for a film. It's about 2 best friends who believe that sex will ruin the relationship, and then they have sex, and it ruins the relationship. Because, we'll get to this later, I presume, but the original ending, they didn't get together. In almost every draft of the script, they didn't get together. However, because this was fueled by lots of depression from Rob Reiner's terrible divorce to Penny Marshall, I think, Penny Marshall. And basically, he was very depressed and he thought, no, love doesn't work out until he met his future wife on the set of When Harry Met Sally, and they changed the ending. And I do think it's for the better, and I'm sure we'll get to that later.
Grape?
No, I don't like to eat between meals.
I'll roll down the window.
So let's break down our first category, opening line Hall of Fame. I have the script here. It's one of the great scripts. I own it. The opening line. I was sitting with my friend Arthur Kornblum in a restaurant. It was a horn and hard art cafeteria, and this beautiful girl walked in. And I turned to Arthur and I said, Arthur, you see that girl? I'm going to marry her. And 2 weeks later, we were married. And it's over 50 years later, and we're still married. How does this rank for you two as one of the great opening lines?
I love it. I wouldn't say it's like the most shocking or anything, but I feel like it very much sets up the movie.
It's underrated. Nobody ever talks about this as one of the great opening lines, but it's pretty
and it's because
great.
It's not the start of the story either. It's like that little interview, and the fact that it then curves around with kind of, you have these interviews randomly dotted throughout, and then you end on an interview as well, and it all makes sense.
Which leads me to one of my new questions. Who was your favourite old couple in the movie? I've narrowed it down to 3.
I know.
You know. Okay. What's your favourite old couple, Becky?
It's the one where is it the one of them starts talking and then the other one
And then the word finishes.
Yeah.
Yes, and that's Rob Reiner's dad's friend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Are all the interviews with people they know?
No. So the interviews, Rob Reiner's original idea was, I'm going to just film real couples. And Nora Ephron said, that's a great idea, but it's not going to work. And it didn't work. So, but they got real stories and then gave them to actors. So that's Rob Reiner's dad's friend, who is a comedian. Yeah, and that has the great 9 extra floors. It's a
Yeah.
great ending. Will, have you got one? Are you going to go for the betrothed Asian couple, the woman with the very large hair?
I'm going for the melon one. I like the melon.
That one is great. You know, like the way you do a good melon. I think I'm going to have to go with, I like we don't know if he's a mobster, but the guy who's, got married to Berta for 3 years, then we divorced, and then he remarries twice, and then he hits on his ex-wife at a funeral, and then they're married for 30 years. And the woman is just she remembers all the names, and he doesn't. Great old couples.
And you're wondering, like, which one's going to be the person who's actually in the video.
Yes, this is true. Best YouTube comments. These are all comments from the trailer. Here we go. I guess Mike Wazowski and Anastasia Romanov could have a relationship.
This is true, because he's Mike Wazowski, which I only found out like a few weeks ago.
I don't get how you
it
do
blows
that.
my mind. I don't know how I didn't know either.
Monsters
to be honest.
Inc., the best Pixar film.
Is it though?
My girlfriend wants me to watch this with her. Pray for me. I don't get that. This is a really good film. This isn't like a soppy, notebooky type where, I don't know.
It's definitely the type that I feel like anyone could enjoy. It's not just a sort of like a film for rom-com fans.
Bit of a sad one here from JC, not my dad. One of my goals in life is to find a woman who hates me as much as Sally hates Harry.
Ooh.
My
Have you
God.
seen the whole film?
Wow. My God, Meg Ryan was beautiful. Why in the world would she think she needed any kind of plastic surgery? That's from Rick Cland 6674. And I have that as one of my notes. Not the plastic surgery element, but we're going to talk about how exceptionally beautiful Meg Ryan is in this film. All I can hear is Mike Wazowski. And here's my favourite. Years ago, I wanted to do something special in proposing to my girlfriend. And I thought about this scene, and now New Year's was coming up. So at about 10 p.m. on December the 31st, I suggested we watch this movie, and she happily agreed. Then, after we did some food and getting comfortable, preparations, I started it at 10ish. Then a few minutes before midnight, after Harry says that he wants to spend the rest of his life with her, I went down on one knee and proposed with a diamond ring. And yes, she said yes. We lived together after that, and reality set in, and it didn't work. But we still remain good friends. She still frequently brings up my proposal and how it was one of the favourite moments of her life. But not favourite enough for her to stay with him. And then a little bit of an advert here. Fantastic screenplay. Never forget the writer, because I am a writer myself. Clearly a very disgruntled man who is annoyed that nobody has read his screenplays. Best 10-minute stretch. What is the best 10-minute stretch in the film?
I think
the opening 10 minutes when they're in the car and he's on about the dark side.
That is good.
That is a good stretch.
Because it establishes the relationship they have to the rest of the movie.
It is great. Are we including the diner in that? Are you saying 10 minutes from late?
Oh, because you've got Friends.
Yeah. You've got Sheldon the Wonderschlong, which I've got years of mileage out of. The amount of times I've used the phrase Wonderschlong. Yeah. And you've got they're ordering the pancakes a la mode, which is a great.
Yes.
So
I feel like the diner scene is probably one of the best scenes, just scenes, but stretch of like 10 minutes. I like the bit where she's having a mental breakdown.
That is good. Into the sex, yeah.
I'm too structured. I'm completely closed off.
But in a good way.
And I'm gonna be 40.
When?
Someday.
in 8 years.
It's not the same for men. Charlie Chaplin had babies when he was 73.
Yeah, but he was too old to pick them up.
And I also quite enjoy the bits where they're both on the phone to each other and it's like split screen. I quite like that as well.
And what are they watching?
What are they watching? Oh my gosh.
Casablanca.
They're watching Casablanca.
Ah!
I have right here. And it is a great film, which leads me to one of my first notes. Sally's Casablanca take is terrible. That is not the ending of the film at all. Have you two done Casablanca?
No, you
I've not
studied
seen
it
Casablanca.
at college, didn't you? Or you just know it anyway.
No, he was going to, but he never got round to it. And I was very annoyed. Because I was like, I love Casablanca. And I do love, as you can probably tell. Well, we'll do Casablanca. That's a great, great film. Tom's weirdly specific favourite part of the film. I have 4.
That's not specific, though, is it?
But they're very, but they're all very specific. Marie folding over the index card when she's told that the guy's married, and you think she's just going to throw it away, but she doesn't. She folds it over. That's great. I mean, it's a great scene. But I'm going to go specifically the line, "What? Do you have a hot bed?" And then the incline of that. That's my favourite moments. The Asian waiter in one of the early montages where you can see her ordering, and he just looks at Harry, and Harry goes, "Yeah, that's great." And then Sally getting water after they have sex. There's a great bit where she puts her dressing gown on, and then when she comes and she's thinking about it, and you see how happy she is when she's pouring the Evian, and then when she comes back in, she does this. And it's great. And that leads to another great line. You alphabetize your VHS tapes on index cards. That's a great scene. Will's more general favourite part of the film is...
Yeah, I like the when they're at the wedding of Carrie Fisher. And she's like, "Is one of us supposed to be a dog?" And it's like, "Yes, you."
I have, right there. I am the dog. I am the dog. I am the dog. The build of that 3, that leads also into a point of, it's a 15, and obviously you've got the sex, but you don't see anything. And there's a lot of frank discussion. There's only, correct me if I'm wrong, there's only 4 F words, and every one is perfect. It's the classic Planes, Trains and Automobiles thing of saving them for that blowout scene, and it's perfect. You've got "Don't F with Mr. Zero," which is just a great joke. Then you've got the payoff of that of adultery is just a symptom of something else. There's something else wrong in the marriage. Well, that symptom's fucking my wife. It's one of the best lines in the film. Then you've got. Then Sally gets the best 2, whereas Harry's like, "Oh, how many people have you slept with?" And she goes, "Oh, so I've not moved on because I haven't fucked somebody." She uses it so brilliantly just to get at him. And then she has the great, "You're going to have to move to New Jersey because you've slept with everybody in New York." And then she also has the big slap and "fuck you." To end the I am the dog when they finally get to the kitchen. Just fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't think of that before, but it's a very good point. They're used in it's not overused, and yeah, it's used in very sort of attacking ways. Very clever.
Yeah, I'm not a devout Catholic or whatever. I don't find overuse of the word offensive. I just love the precision of Nora Ephron's script. It's truly impeccable. The Oscar travesty. So let's have a look now at the Oscars that year. I'm going to get it up for you. There we are. Best Picture. Pretty okay. Some of these are great. I don't get it. Driving Miss Daisy. I don't know how that gets Best Picture, and I don't know how When Harry Met Sally isn't even nominated. I mean,
I don't even know most of these films. I mean, I'm not a film expert, but yeah, I don't know most of
Dead
these.
Poets is great. Field of Dreams is pretty fun. Born on the 4th of July is pretty great. Tom Cruise, very good. Best director. Well, this is the thing. It's the classic comedy thing of comedies don't get recognised unless you're Woody Allen and they're sort of dramatic, which leads me on to Crimes and Misdemeanors, which we will do, which is just incredible film. It's one of the best films ever made. But the only nomination it got was for screenplay, where Dead Poets won. And Dead Poets is a great screenplay, not as good as When Harry Met Sally.
Is it, do you think, one of those films that at the time it wasn't appreciated for what it was?
No,
and then
everybody loved it. Everybody loved it. This is the thing. The only complaint a lot of the critics, I mean, I'm not speaking for all critics, but the biggest complaint was that it seemed not redundant, but it seemed too much in the vein of Woody Allen. And I can completely see that. You've got the opening titles, which are exactly how Woody Allen does his opening titles. You've got the relationship politics in New York, that sort of thing. But I also think that this film is just leaps and bounds above some of those Woody Allen films. I don't think it's leaps and... This is a weird one, because I think Crimes and Misdemeanors is probably my favourite Woody Allen, but I still think I prefer When I Met Sally. Anyway. Best actress, I cannot believe that Meg Ryan didn't get a nomination. That's honestly astounding to me. Jessica Tandy, fine in Driving Miss Daisy. Isabella Gianni, fine. Pauline Collins and Shirley Valentine, again, fine. Jessica Lange has done far better performances than in Music Box. Michelle Pfeiffer in Fabulous Baker Boys is a definite keep. She's great in that film. That's a very good performance. But Meg Ryan should have been in there, and I honestly think she should have won. But seeing as Jessica Tandy was old, it was one of those. Daniel Day-Lewis, my left foot, I've no arguments there. And I don't know if Billy would have made it into that top 5. That's a pretty great top 5. And I don't think Carrie is in it enough for... mind you, that's a pretty weak Best Supporting Actress. It's a tough one. I think the biggest travesty is not winning screenplay and Meg not getting nominated. At least getting nominated. They're your travesties. Agree? Yeah, Will?
I would agree.
Yeah. Will's favourite building / set. You've got an awful line here, Will, because it's the whole of New York.
I really hope you agree with me. For me, it's the Metropolitan Museum of Art.
The pecan pie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's correct. That is correct. The falling leaves. The pecan.
Yeah, it's wonderful. Yeah. And just the architecture of the building is lovely as well. But we won't get into that. That's for my other podcast, Will's Architecture.
The building, the foundation. You break it down. Let's start at the foundation. Favorite piece of scaffolding. Best single minute. Oh, I didn't say my best 10-minute stretch. I disagree. I think it's the final. I think it's the final 10. I think that from her putting the phone down on him after he does call me if you're afraid to just call me, and then him walking around New Year's Eve alone. It just gets you every time. I think the momentum. It's incredible. I think it's incredible. However, I also think the first 10 minutes is excellent.
I think we were saying earlier, Becky, that this film kind of redefined the genre when it came out. So like all modern rom-coms nowadays now have the big, the guy at the end, the big confession of love, the big build-up. Where before that, this movie is strange because it doesn't have an exterior conflict. The conflict is them themselves, which is quite interesting. There's nothing in the way.
I think if you get this 10 years later even, it's 2 hours long and you've got half an hour of having to deal with, what's his name? It's simple. That's a baby and it's talking. You're great. And he kisses her and you're like, oh, get rid of him. Get rid of him. I just don't need 10 minutes of, and I did watch the deleted scenes, and there's a few that I would put back in, but at the end of the day, it's fine at 90, and you don't need any of that. The one I would put in is, there's a very short one where it's the night they've just had sex, and they go to sleep, and he just stays still and he doesn't hold her, which is one of the cruelest things. Watching it this time, I didn't realize how cruel he really is in that scene. That is mean. But then there's a deleted scene where it's just him, and he looks over at the alarm clock, and it's 4:06, and then he looks over at her, and he looks back at the alarm clock, and he's just got that dead. And I mean, we've got the dead expression already in the scene, but I think maybe another 30 seconds. What's the change? Is there one?
Best single minute?
Oh, sorry, best single minute. I'll go first this time. I've got two. It's either Sally's monologue of leaving Joe and the I Spy a Family. I also like how she goes, we were playing I Spy, I Spy a Mailbox, as if he doesn't know what I Spy is. And then I Spy a Family, which is just brilliant. And then the cold ceramic tile. That, or, well, no, that's the runner-up. The best single minute is Oklahoma in sharper image.
Yeah.
The ducks and geese and my spare scurry. And then the upholstery's brown. And she just doesn't get, she's not in tune. Genuine leather. However, my nitpick is, I mean, I do get it, obviously. As someone with a few X's now, well, no, one X. Now, I'd like, obviously, even if they were with Ira, you're still going to get annoyed. You're still going to get, like, shook. But she's come in with this Ira guy who looks like, I don't know, Bela Lugosi Dracula. And he's got Meg Ryan on his arm. And she doesn't know, Helen doesn't know that they're just friends. I just don't...
Are you saying that you would essentially pretend to be with Meg Ryan?
No, I don't think he even needs to pretend. I think he plays it cool. Well, no, he plays it... but he does nothing to be, like... He should be happy. He should be like, oh, yeah, oh, hello. Ira, oh, pleasure to meet you. This is Sally. And I don't want to spoil Tom's
But at the same time,
question.
at this point, he's not, like, into Sally.
Oh, no, he is. Okay, let's have this debate.
Oh.
The line, you're the first woman I've never, what is it? You're the first woman I've never been, oh my God. You're the first, when they get back friends together. And it's like, you're the first woman friend I've had where I've just not wanted to have sex with you. That's not true at all. He is playing it cool. He is in love with Sally. He is in love with Sally for the whole film. I definitely.
I think it starts off with him being intrigued. Like in the car, he's kind of like, we could just have sex. But then she's kind of like, no, I'm not interested. And he's like, oh, okay, fair enough. I'm off. Then like when they keep bumping into each other, he's sort of like, oh, maybe there is something there. But I do genuinely like believe that bit where he's like, and I don't want to have sex with you. And, oh, this has sort of changed it slightly. Because that's why he has the whole blank expression after they do have sex. Because he's like, oh, this changes everything. Like,
yeah.
What do you think about this whole idea of them bumping into each other throughout the film? Do you think there's anything where he's forcing things? Is he planning to bump into her? Or is that the beauty of the film, that they are all just coincidences?
It's only twice. I've heard people moan about this and be like, oh, it's stupid, it's so ridiculous. It's only twice. And
it is like 5 years apart or something.
Yeah. My theory is that any film can have one coincidence. Like if you look at the first 10 minutes of any film, you need that one coincidence or else there isn't a film. It's like Shawshank. you need the insane circumstances around how he gets into prison, or else you don't have a movie. You're allowed one coincidence. If it's early enough, if it's a coincidence at the end, then that's a stretch. But also, they're 5 years apart each time.
Yeah, it's over a long enough period of time that it becomes believable. Because if it, like, a lot of movies make it out like someone keeps bumping into someone within the same year, which in a city like New York or Chicago or London or something is just not realistic. Whereas, like, when it's over a longer period of time, you can kind of understand it. And the way that they play off each other, given it's been that period of time as well, is quite interesting.
And then he has the great when he bumps into Helen. There's only 8 million people in this city. Of course, you can bump into your ex-wife. But you're saying, Will, that you think he's trying to find her?
Oh no, I was just playing devil's advocate and sparking conversation.
Fair enough. Next category. What's the change? Is there a change?
I don't think I'd change anything with this movie.
This is the problem. I think we're going to end up picking films that we love. And I don't know what I'd change.
Is there any bit that you would cut?
No. No. I don't know. I don't know what I would cut. Will, you're not less. You don't like it less, but this is like this is a top 10 movie for both me and Becky. Maybe you're more objective. What would you change?
I'm not sure. I think there's a lot of scenes in the middle where they're apart, which they need for the exposition, but just the odd. I think maybe, like you were saying earlier, maybe the change doesn't need to be a cut, but add 30 seconds in.
Yeah. However, right. Here's my length theory. When a film gets past 2 hours 20, just make it 3 hours. Like, I watch Titanic deleted scenes and I go, this is already 3 hours 20. Just put the rest in. Like, because every one of the deleted scenes is good and it's about 30 seconds each. And I'm just like, just put them in. The clipness, if that's even a word, of that 90 minutes of this. It's just impeccable. And it's very refreshing when you have to sit through bloody... How long was Endgame? 3 hours? Terrible. I mean, Godfather Part 2 is 3 hours 20, and I could watch that, and I have watched that twice in one day. I don't think I will ever sit through Endgame again. But anyway, that's another episode.
I do feel like, if something gets too long, you are less likely to watch it. Like, 90 minutes is a really good length.
It's a lovely time, yeah.
And if it's like When Harry Met Sally is, and it's just 90 minutes of gold, then it's amazing, and I'd happily watch it over and over again.
And I think this has been lost in comedies. Comedies now are about 2 hours. Like, I love Forgetting Sarah Marshall, but that's 2 hours. Like, that could be 90 minutes. I don't know what I'd cut, and I'm sure we'll do a Forgetting Sarah Marshall episode. I very much like it. But I don't know what I'd cut. What's left from Tom's nose? A lot. Pros and questions. What is the best Meg Ryan and what's the best Billy Crystal look in this film?
Look, as in physical
costume. Oh yeah, purely physical.
Mouthful of grapes.
Oh, that is a great look for Sally though, as because you wouldn't consider it. Knee-high socks. She's dressed like she runs a camp counselor. She's a camp counselor. She's dressed like Christine Baranski in Untitled Chapter. Debbie Martin Granger. Becky Martin Granger. But she looks incredible.
You see, my thing about Meg Ryan in this film is I love that because it's over such a long period of time.
Yeah.
They change her hairstyle and they do change like how she looks throughout the movie, which I think is such a clever little detail. Because as I say, I just feel like there's not enough
Billy
films
too.
that are
Billy
over
too.
that period of time. Yeah, I mean, I noticed it most because of like her hair, because it's very like, it becomes a lot more like...
Every time. Her hair is great. What's the worst look? I'm going Airplane, where she's got that terrible bob.
Yeah.
And she's dressed like she's a hostess on the plane.
I never got to say my favourite minute.
No, sorry, Will.
Well, it is the Oklahoma scene, but I was going to say my runner-up would be the airplane scene.
That is great.
Just because of when he says, "Oh, by the way, I'm married." It's heartbreak. Does he?
Yeah, it very much like throws off the film. You kind of think, oh, okay, well, this is over now.
He has the great, I'm getting married. Yeah, she's a lawyer. Yeah. She's keeping her name. Yeah. Heartache. Do you see heartache there, Will?
Heartbreak.
Heartbreak.
Yeah.
Oh, on his end or hers?
Both. He doesn't want to get married. He wants to get married to Sally.
I don't think anyone's
not at that point.
In that scene.
He does.
No, because she's happy with Joe.
No, I think that point is when it's upsetting for the viewer, because you watch it and you're like, oh, this whole film is supposed to be these two people falling in love, but they can't do that now because they're both like in happy relationships. So it's not upsetting for either of them as a person, like as people, but I think they're also both shocked by each other's situations, just because they weren't expecting it. But yeah, I don't think that's heartbreak for either of the characters. I think it's heartbreak for the viewer.
Next note. Is Meg Ryan in this movie the best looking woman of the 80s? Here are your 4 nominations. Nicole Kidman in Dead Calm, Rebecca De Mornay in Risky Business, Meg Ryan in When I Met Sally, or Michelle Pfeiffer in Fabulous Baker Boys, and Sharon Stone in Basic Instinct if we count it. I mean, we shouldn't count it, it's 90. But is she the best looking of those?
I mean, I am a woman, I can hardly comment, but I love Meg Ryan's look.
I can acknowledge that George Clooney is still the most handsome man alive. Is he?
I love Meg Ryan's look in that film. I'd go for her if I was a guy.
Yeah. Joe, here's one. Joe says, I love you, after a month of them being together. And he sort of throws it away a little. He's like, I'll see you later. I love you. And then she's like, you do? Is a month too soon?
Good question.
Because it's not that they've been in the relationship for a month, because Sally later says, because Billy says, Harry says, are you going to marry him? And she goes, I've known him a month. So they've been dating / in a relationship for a month, and he's just chucked in, I love you. Is Joe, is he just sort of saying that to shut her up?
So, fun fact, I think it's something like, on average, most couples say I love you after like a month to 6 weeks, which seems quite soon, but also I think it very much depends on the relationship and how intense, and whether you were friends before, and there's so many different factors.
Yeah,
I feel like this specific storyline, it seems weird because they're adults, they've just been dating, they haven't like moved in, or they're not like seeing each other every day kind of thing, so it does seem very soon. But in other cases you could have had like a really intense 1 month relationship, and I think
but then there's also the difference between saying I love you and meaning it.
Well, this is the thing, you chucked it away.
You say I love you after a month, but the average meaning it could be different. They just happen to say it after a month.
It's very good. Next note. What is the first book that Harry is seen reading? And he flips to the end. Your clue is, it was Rob Reiner's next film.
Misery.
Misery is
correct. He's got it. Do I win a point?
Yes, you can keep track. And then that was Rob Reiner's next film, and he later reads Robert Ludlum's The Icarus Agenda. Skirts. When Billy, when Harry says, you should wear more skirts, you look great in skirts. That's correct. She does look great in skirts.
I thought it was a question.
No, it's just a comment.
It's just a statement.
But I quite like that. It's because at that time it was very much like women were, you know,
Diane
feminism was becoming a big thing. Like trousers and shorts and like sort of looking more like a man was the style. So it's almost implying that Harry's slightly like stuck in the past or slightly more like old-fashioned. But yeah, just an interesting comment.
Going back to the best looks, Harry's best look for me is the big woolly white turtleneck jumper.
From when he's reading Misery, that is a good look. Yeah. And he wears another one, and it's not exactly turtleneck when he's making the carpet.
When they're in the flat, yeah.
Sewing it.
They're both bent down.
Yeah, and what's she wearing? Skirt, which is Sally's best look in the film, is the skirt and red jumper. However, and a bit of rouge as well. But also, she looks great in the New Year's. She looks great in every scene. Meg Ryan is a great woman. Skirt's great. Let's talk about it. The diner scene. The second diner scene.
Yes. This is my favourite minute. I didn't say mine either. My favourite minute is that bit where she says, like, what's the quote? It's something about most men don't know.
Most men say that it never happens to them, but most women have done it more than one time or another. So you do the math.
Yeah.
Because they orgasm. It's great. I think it's done good.
And the comment from the extra who says, like, I'll have what she's having.
It is great. And that's not just any extra.
That's his mum. It's
Rob Reiner's mum.
It is? Oh.
Okay, well, I'll do it quickly. So basically, so in the airplane scene, you've got Nora Ephron, Rob Reiner. So the film, basically, the script came about from conversations between Nora Ephron and Rob Reiner. And Rob Reiner basically told Nora about the whole wanting to get up after sex thing. And Nora was like, really? And that's where that scene comes from. So then Rob Reiner was like, wait a minute, I've just given away one of men's biggest secrets. And I don't know if it's exactly, maybe I'm too sensitive. Well, we don't need to, it'd be cheaper than therapy, but we don't need to get into this now. But, so then Rob Reiner was like, oh, sorry, go on.
It's not like one of men's biggest secrets. I feel like it's fairly obvious.
Yeah, but it's fairly obvious to us now. It wasn't was it in 89?
I think it was meant to be like a moment of disgust for the audience that everyone go, what?
Yeah. Yeah, and all the men can have a free ride that night because they'll go, I never do that. Anyway. So Rob Reiner said, I've just given away a big secret for us. What's a big woman's secret? And then she goes, well, do you really want to know? And he goes, yeah. Well, most women fake orgasm. And Rob Reiner's response was, well, not with me. And that's what that whole scene is. And so then Rob Reiner, this was obviously pre-Me Too, but he then ran into his officers and asked every woman if they'd ever faked an orgasm. And they obviously all said, yeah, a couple of times. So Becky, no, I'm kidding. I think Nora Ephron has done some wonders because I think subconsciously, after this, putting this in the mainstream, most men are very self-conscious about this now. I mean, they were self-conscious about it before. If we want to break this down,
the point that Meg Ryan brings up is almost. I think that's more of a secret than the whole men not wanting to cuddle thing. Like, I feel like everyone. I don't know. I just feel like everyone kind of automatically knows that. Yeah. Whereas, the fake orgasm thing, I feel like that wasn't in the general knowledge. Like, it wasn't in big media. It might have been a kind of whispered thing that everyone knew about, but like, it wasn't in big films or anything until this movie. So,
and we don't need to dwell on it, but I feel like I'm Harry. Like, I feel like this conversation just come up a couple of times, and I've gone, oh well, I don't know.
I feel like every guy thinks they're Harry. Every guy thinks that it's not happened to them. That's the whole point.
No, I know, but we don't need to get into it. But I've got not evidence, but anyway, we don't need to get into it. But it's...
Here's the question though: if you like, we were saying the other day, we watched Click, but if you
just
were
as good as when I remember Sally.
Yeah, if you watched if you could say you were a character from a movie, who would you say you were? Who do you relate to the most?
I am Harry Harry Burns in almost every way.
We realised I am Adam Sandler from Click.
I haven't seen Click. What's the?
It's wonderful. It's probably Christopher Walken's second greatest appearance ever.
Yeah, it's a great. No, I would say it's his top. It's so good.
It's not as good as
Fuck
Pulp
the
Fiction.
Deer Hunter that he won. Yeah. Well, we'll have to do a Click episode. Also, she really does not hold back on that impression. I know it's a very funny comedy scene, but like every time I forget how realistic she goes. It's never like, ooh, ooh. It's really realistic, especially when she goes, what does she say? Oh, right there. Like she really, really goes for it. It's great. Cheek to Cheek, the first New Year's Eve, where they're dancing and they do the rotation and you see their faces both drop. Brilliant. Brilliant stuff.
Great moment.
Here's your quiz question. When Harry and Jess, Bruno Kirby, who we've yet to talk about, but he's excellent in the film, are talking about, well, it's after the baby fish mouth thing and the charades game, and they go off and talk about Emily and the other guy and Julian. That's it. Julian. What sort of name is that? Unless you're Julian Clary, you can't pull the name Julian off. I've just been visiting Norman Lamont.
Thank you. It's very nice of you to recreate hamster teeth for me here. As a matter of fact, I've just been fisting Norman Lamont.
Now, on Jess's wall is a poster. What is that poster for?
I don't know.
It's for a circus act called The Mighty Midget Magician. Why does Jess have a poster? Which set dresser thought we need to put some posters up? Oh, what about Casablanca? No. What about The Mighty Midget Magician?
A faceless guy rips off your clothes, and that's the sex fantasy you've been having since you were 12. Exactly the same.
Well, sometimes I varied it a little.
Which part?
What I'm wearing.
You tell her about other women.
Yeah, like the other night. I made love to this woman, and it was so incredible. I took her to a place that wasn't human. She actually meowed.
You made a woman meow?
Go ahead. I don't like this one anyway, when she's crying on his jumper. Again, I've used that.
Yeah.
This might be the film where I have subconsciously quoted the most. Like, if I was to guess, I'd probably jump to, I don't know, Silence of the Lambs or something. But I think it's actually this. Like I say,
that's why it's so good. Is because it's so realistic that it literally is like a genuine relationship, essentially, between two people.
Are you comfortable?
Sure.
The flash on Sally's face after what do you call it? After they have sex, and
yeah, when they're sitting in that like restaurant kind of thing opposite each other, and they're both sort of in silence.
It's brilliant. Tom's next note: Marie's wedding dress, and Meg goes, "Oh, it's really great. Is it?"
wedding dresses, the style back then was horrendous. I don't know how anything
It
was...
looks like Princess Fiona's dress from Shrek. It doesn't look good at all. A lot of suicides, great little throwaway line. Harry singing Call Me, great. The slap, brilliant. The second tree, where she takes the Christmas tree, but she doesn't have anybody to help her with it. That's great.
Yeah.
The montage when he's walking and they do the whole little moments from throughout the movie thing, and it's, I don't know what it is, but in other movies it seems corny. In this, it just plays very well.
Yep.
I would
Still a
agree.
bit corny.
And then my favourite note is the end of this film, the harshest cut to black in any movie ever. The coconut cake, and then bang, ding, ding, ding.
Tears, and there was this very rich chocolate sauce on the side.
Right, because not everybody likes it on the cake because it makes it very soggy.
Particularly the coconut soaks up a lot of that stuff, so it's important to keep it on the side.
Right.
I partially agree, but also like I feel like it makes sense because those interviews are supposed to be like little snippets of their conversations, and like all of the others kind of end. I mean, like they kind of finish off, but yeah, it's like clips, so it makes sense.
Pretty great stuff. Which leads us to Tom's big question. I've got two.
Okay.
First question. Is Sally Albright the perfect woman?
No, I don't think anyone's the perfect woman.
Well, no, but this is the point. She is the perfect woman because she's not perfect. She's very high maintenance and all that. It's not like, I don't know, Audrey Hepburn in Roman Holiday, where she's just like, yeah, I'm a princess. And she is literally perfect, and it's too perfect. Sally Albright is the perfect realistic film woman.
Yeah, I think she's one of the more realistic characters, and I don't know. I don't think. And my other question, I guess, would be like,
it's not Becky's big question.
I'm sorry, but it leads me on to the thought process of, would they genuinely end up together in real life?
Ah, right. That was going to be Tom's third big question. Third was going to be, do they split up? Do they stay together? Do they divorce?
You see, I just feel like their friendship was always a bit clunky as it was. I don't think it would have worked.
As a Harry who's always gone after Sally's, I hope that they stick together. As a morose, depressive, dry-witted, miserable man who hides depression under humour, who isn't ugly but isn't like a George Clooney type, I hope that Harry's get Sally's all over, but they don't. But anyway.
Yeah, I just feel like friends can, like, if you have two friends who end up together, it can go one of two ways. It can be like genuinely these two people get along so well that, like, you know, you've built it off the friendship and it's like a perfect relationship essentially. But then I feel like you can still clash with that person. Or if you go from friends to relationship, it can be like, because you were close, you got even closer, but actually you're very different people.
This is true. Well,
I think they stay together.
Yeah.
Of course they do.
Yeah, let's go for that.
You guys are both hopeless romantics.
Second, sort of, Tom's big question 1.5. Is Sally Albright the best rom-com woman? Like, best female lead?
Yes. It's the best rom-com, and therefore...
Best. And it is the best rom-com because of that.
Yeah.
Dynamic. Will, go on, play devil's advocate.
I want to put your attention to a little movie called About Time.
Oh. Yep. Okay, I prefer About Time. About Time is higher in my top 10. But...
Oh, this is a Kaiser Soze-like twist. Where did this... Sorry. This is weird to throw in near the end. But
as a character and as the... no, because that's a really good one.
What's About
that's
Time?
That's a very film relationship, whereas When Harry Met Sally is a very realistic relationship.
What's her name?
What, the character in About Time?
What's the character's name? And my point is proven.
No.
My point is proven. There we are.
Look, When Harry Met Sally, I've watched it more recently, and also the characters' names are in the title, so...
Only half. Sally Albright, Harry Burns. Also, I'm going to say I prefer Rachel McAdams as a love interest in Wedding Crashers. I really like Wedding Crashers.
It's a great movie.
Old Midnight in Paris. Great Woody film. Fine. Tom's final big question. Is I Hate You, Harry, I Really Do the best I Love You in any film ever?
I was about to mention this. I don't like the line.
Oh.
I don't like it.
Go on, do it. Let's go on.
Let's have this out.
Try.
Explain why.
Well, you could best say, I love you, Sally. And then she's like, I hate you, I hate you. And then it's
That's not true.
It's not. They kiss straight after that, and that is not when they should kiss.
Not straight away.
I feel like it's not.
He runs in.
I love you.
He runs in. Look, here's the thing. I've been thinking, and I love you. And he goes, and how do you expect me to respond to that? I don't know. How about you love me too? And then she walks away, and then it's just because you're lonely, just because it's New Year's Eve, you can't just come here and make out. And then he does the incredible speech.
Oh, that's yes.
Which is why it's my best 10-minute stretch. And if I'm being honest, it's probably my best single minute in there too. And then you've got the incredible, and she has that look of she's in love with him. And then she catches herself. Harry, see, that's just like you, Harry. You come here and you say something like that, and it makes it impossible to hate you. And I hate you, Harry. I really, but she's saying I love you, and it's incredible.
She
and
is.
then they
However,
kiss. Go on.
The kiss, it's out of character. This
leads
Sally,
into Becky's, do they stay together? Like, is this a realistic...
The fact that he then leans in to kiss her in order to cut her off, and then she realises, oh, actually, no. We'll keep doing this.
She doesn't cut him off.
Look, I have a point here, because I think you guys are both being very, like, male-headed, in the sense that I would do something like this. I'd be like, in my emotional state, like, I hate you. And it's like, no, I don't want you to leave. I don't actually hate you. But it's just like, oh, why are you doing this? So that's all she's doing. And I don't think it's the best I love you ever, but it's probably the most realistic, because she is literally like, why are you doing this to me?
What's the better I love you then?
I love you.
I don't know. There's got to be just like
it's just the fact
movie moment.
She shouldn't. The character of Sally wouldn't have left I hate you. He would have gone in for the kiss. Then she would have tried to make up some sort of excuses into why, and then it would eventually ended up with a passionate kiss.
She's not leaving it at I hate you. She's leaving it at I love you, because she's saying I love you. She's just saying I hate you.
She is.
And then they kiss, and then...
guys, you're not understanding the point.
Oh, I completely understand, Becky. I've been fooled.
She's saying it out of anger.
I understand your point too. So I understand the film so much that, well, again, it's cheaper than therapy. Similar situations. I did that whole monologue, and I changed a few things, and it wasn't like I was using it and they didn't know. She loved the film. And I did the whole monologue, and then she was like, "Oh." So every time, as a man who's been turned down using that same monologue, I know that it's not that realistic. But there we go. I mean, it wasn't. I mean, there was like 3 months later, and it was just another desperate attempt to cling on to something that was dead. Next category: synopsis of a sequel. What about when Sally divorced Harry because she would leave him? What about that? Why don't we have a? Well, then it just turns into marriage story, and I don't think you could have a. Well, you could obviously have a funny divorce drama, obviously, but
I don't think a sequel would particularly work for this movie as perfect as it is.
Oh yeah, it's just one of the categories.
I reckon it would be more something to do with maybe if they had kids and like some
they get
kind of
together?
interaction there. No, as in like, I don't know, interactions with their kids and the parents, and more of the like, because that was like the falling in love aspect, and I feel like it could cover like their relationship through the issues of like marriage and kids and stuff, and then I don't know, somehow include maybe their kids growing up and them getting into relationships and so on. But yeah, I don't think it needs it. It doesn't need a sequel.
It doesn't. Will, have you got a crazy sequel idea to throw in?
Yeah, Sally opens a bookstore and meets Tom Hanks.
You've got mail. Bad movie. I'm just going to say
it's very bad.
And this is coming from somebody who loves Nora Ephron, loves Meg Ryan. Okay, on Tom Hanks. Also, Sleepless in Seattle. I mean,
I don't enjoy that movie.
We're gonna have to have a Sleepless in Seattle episode because Sina Ava was unable to join this one, and that'll be her quid pro quo. She'll get to do Sleepless in Seattle, but again, just nowhere near as good as When Harry Met Sally.
I think a good sequel would be the clips of the couples talking about their marriage is turned into some sort of documentary. They watch that and they decide to do something of their own as a project together or become couples counselors or something. And in that, realize a conflict in their relationship. And it's about parallel ironing out that in between. I think that would be a nice story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's got to a point where, as much as the film is perfect, I'll watch an hour and a half of deleted scenes if they have them. They don't, but I would watch it. Anything for more of this film. Closing line Hall of Fame. We'll return to the wonderful book. We're going to cheat it. Particularly coconut, it soaks up a lot of that stuff. It's important to keep it on the side. Right. Bum, bum, bum. Pretty great. Pretty great closing line. I don't know if it's as good as the opening.
It's not as good as the opening, but the scene as a whole is very good.
It's incredible. It's an incredibly structured film.
Yeah, it's very well thought through.
Yeah, 14 minutes of college, 5 minutes airplane, 10 minutes of them getting back together, half an hour. It's just bang, 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 bang. It's just great. And you know, a sign of a perfect film. This is why it's in my top 10. Every time it changes scenes, you never go, "Oh, I'll have a wee." Or it changes scenes, and you are reminded of like, "Oh, it's the diner scene," or it's pecan pie, or it's even just the charades thing, or it's the batting in the batting cage, and I made a woman meow. I took her to a place that wasn't human.
That's
just
great.
Every single cut to a new scene, incredible. I think that's it for When Harry Met Sally. Becky, do you have any closing? Wait a minute, we haven't talked much about Carrie Fisher, who she doesn't steal the movie, but she's incredible as Marie. Marie and Jess, great little second. That's one of my sneaky favourite scenes. Is that double dates into I'm going to get a cab. I don't fancy walking, and then I'll come with you. Which Carrie Fisher's great. I needed a new red suede pump, and then she goes over and takes Sally to the side. Great scene. And then they just left, and you're like, oh, just go home and have it off now. Just get it over and done with. Get rumping. Becky, any final thoughts on this incredible film?
Just that it's one of my it's my third favorite movie. Yeah, I just feel
not
like
as good as About Time.
No, but it's 90 minutes of pure gold. It set up the whole future of rom-coms basically, and the fact that did you say it was like kind of improvised? A lot of it is just.
It wasn't improvised, but it was a big melting pot movie.
Yeah.
It came from a lot of conversations from Nora and Rob, and then Billy pitched in, and then, I mean, the orgasm scene, as I broke it down, you've got Rob Reiner saying, well, that doesn't happen to me. Then they take it, then Billy Crystal says, then Rob Reiner says, okay, well, she's going to have to fake one. And then Meg Ryan says, okay, if I'm faking one, it needs to be in a public place. And then Billy Crystal says, and then you need to have somebody say, yeah, I'll have what she's having. And I was listening to the audio commentary, and Nora Ephron, God rest her soul, just kept saying how this was one of the best collaborative experiences she's ever had. Because everybody pitched in, and and maybe Sleepless in Seattle would be better if it was a bit more collaborative. I don't know.
I think there's a few moments that are fully improvised. Pecan Pie was improvised.
That was improvised.
I think the whole Pictionary scene was improvised.
Yeah, because she looks over.
And he's like, go with it.
Keep going. Great stuff.
I love his little Billy's little smile. I love it, and he just goes like that, as if to say, "Hey, I got you."
Is this the best looks movie? The amount of little perfect looks in this movie.
Little, as in like sort of.
Just like, especially plane scene, plane meeting Joe, where it's got, and this is Sally Albright. Great double takes in this movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's top, but I can't think what is top. But I definitely I don't know. There's some great moments in it. Yeah.
Right, William. Any final thoughts on this incredible film?
Well, I'm very glad I was introduced to it because I've only recently watched it. So I don't know as much about it as you do, but it is fantastic. And I may need to reconsider where it is on my list.
Ooh.
I'm not sure if it's where is it? I'm going to find where it is.
It's a lot better than Chicken Run.
It's not.
I think it's in your top 20.
It is. It's number 21. It's 21 for me.
Let's do it live. So Will has downloaded the app Flick Chat, where it ranks movies for you. So Will, here we go, is going to re-rank When Harry Met Sally. Let's see where it climbs. Here we go. Fill us in, Will.
Okay. So we're starting off When Harry Met Sally against Get Smart.
When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah. The Prestige. When Harry Met Sally. 40-Year-Old Virgin.
Harry Met Sally.
Harry Met Sally. The Adventures of Tintin.
Harry Met Sally.
Harry Met Sally. Will.
Why you do this to me? About Time. I'm sorry. It is my favorite. The Incredibles. The Incredibles.
The Incredibles is good, but it's not When Harry Met Sally. They're very close.
It's his choice, and he's made it.
It is. Paddington 2. Paddington 2.
No, I completely disagree with that one.
This is okay. Continue.
Sherlock Holmes.
Which one? Just Sherlock Holmes.
One.
When Harry Met Sally.
Yeah. It's number 11.
Ooh, so it's still not in the top 10.
No.
But you know what is in the top 10? Hot Fuzz, next week's episode. So,
a fantastic movie.
It is a fantastic movie. Yeah, great movie. Is it the best of the Cornetto trilogy?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Hot Fuzz. Hot Fuzz. Shaun of the Dead.
At
World's End.
No, it's not that bad.
No, it's a very strong movie on its own, but you look at it in comparison to the two, and it is significantly weaker.
Hot Fuzz, incredible. We're gonna talk all about it next week.
Oh,
it's worth it just for Olivia Colman.
I think we should do our own Cornetto trilogy.
What do you mean?
We do our own Cornetto trilogy. I said we just discuss all three in like a segment.
Well, that's not the. Oh, well, we'll have to
changing the.
We'll have to check the schedule. Let's not give too much away, but we can't do that just yet because after Hot Fuzz is our first fortnight, which we will explain at the end of the Hot Fuzz episode. But it's going to be a certain fat, bald director who mentally scarred his female actresses. So it's going to be a fun episode. But it's been a pleasure. Let's have special thanks to our wonderful secretary and guest, Becky Muggeridge. Thank you, Becky, for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me on.
I'm sure we'll have you again. Will, I've been what's two Ronnies?
What, like two Ronnies?
I'm Will Leggetter, and he's Will Leggetter. Anyway, sign yourself off, Will.
Well, thank you for giving me an education in When Harry Met Sally.
Education, another great film.
Educating Rita, a better film.
Yeah. Oh. Educating Rita, we'll schedule that in. Love Educating Rita.
Oh, yeah. But on that note,
go on. Mr. Educating Rita.
I was going to, yeah.
How do you tackle the challenges of performing Peer Gynt?
Oh.
It's only the big gag of the film.
I don't, with alcohol, I don't know.
With alcohol? You do it for radio. Will's embarrassed himself. He's said it's one of his favourite films, and then he's forgotten the biggest thing.
I went to see it at the theatre when they were still open.
Yeah, with, what's it called? Could the real Slim Shady please stand? Please stand. I'm not Dave Spikey. I'm getting him. No, Steve Tomlinson's Brassed Off.
Yeah.
Brassed Off.
Oh, we're doing Brassed Off.
That's an episode and a half. Right. I've been Thomas Carruthers, Becky Muggeridge, William Leggetter, When Harry Met Sally. Rest in peace, Nora Ephron. Thank you very much.